everybody. My name is Christian Hannah, and this is the movie podcast for movie nerds talking about movie news. I'm just completely I kind of botched that intro, but whatever the case may be, welcome to the 23rd. The 23rd episode of the Hannahcast. Welcome. We don't have as many topics today as last week. Not a lot of, we don't have a bunch of movie news going around right now. But, however, we still have a few things, and as always, once we get through the topics, after we take a little break, we'll, go to your live chat questions and whatnot. So that'll be fun. Also, if you're not already, why aren't you subscribed? Subscribe to this YouTube channel, man! Give this video give this video a like this video, and like I said, click that subscribe button, because we want to get to 1,000 subscribers where I can start taking super chats, and I'd love to start taking super chats, especially since there's like a Google Play app called Google Play Rewards, where you can take surveys and get Google Play revenue, and you can use that Google Play revenue to send me super chats, which just supports me, so that would be amazing. Also, if you are subscribed, hit that bell icon. I want you to smash that bell like the Liberty Bell. Crack that son of a bitch. So you can get notified on all of the latest videos and live streams. Also, if you want to send in super chats, but, of course, since we can't really do super chats right now, then go over to streamelements.com/ChristiansReviews/tip. That would be very helpful indeed. I do... streamelements.com/ChristiansReviews/tip. Also, if you want to continue, if you want to support me in another way, well, head over to my Patreon account, which is patreon.com/ChristianTylerHannah. There you'll get a couple of tiers. One of them is a $2 tier where you can get your name in my videos, and a $5 tier where you can get the Hannahcast audio-only version, the Hannahcast after show, and any other perks we might have. Like, we might start doing audio commentaries of movies, especially once the lockdowns are over. So yeah, guys, if you're interested, check out patreon.com/ChristianTylerHannah so you can get ahead on that Patreon. So yeah, dude. Also, if you haven't already, I have a Letterboxd account, which is letterboxd.com/ChristianHannah, where you get movie ratings, top 10 lists and movies that I've watched. It's pretty much like a movie diary or something like that. So, why not check that out? Oop, do I need to fix this up a bit? There we go. Also, I got one more thing before we head on to the topics, and I'm just going to take this little commercial thing. Well, there. Good news, guys! We have merch now! Go to teespring.com/stores/ChristiansReviews to get your nasty little hands on all sorts of items, including my face on a t-shirt, my face on a hoodie, my face on a pillow, my face on a tote bag, my face on a mug, my face on a wall tapestry, my face on a blanket, my face on phone cases, my face on stickers, and many more! Or how about the Hannahcast logo on those items as stated above? Wow! And best of all, they come in so many different colors, including this! What is this color? What is it? I want to know. But wait, there's more! Act now, you can also get my exclusive Make America Cringe Again merch. Surely not a parody of the political climate we have today. And there we have it, guys. Now let's get ahead to the topics. And our first topic today is, apparently, as you guys know, there's, ever since the murder of George Floyd, which was, if you don't know about that, it's basically a cop abused his power and choked a man named George Floyd out with his knee, and that goes against protocol, and he, again, like I said, was abusing his power. And all this was because George Floyd had a faulty $20 bill, and yet that's worth killing him over, which is stupid. But whatever the case, all these riots and protests are going on right now in support of Black Lives Matter, which they should. Um, and apparently, a couple of movie studios have been releasing some of their movies, like some of their movies that kind of reflect on these issues, for free. Like you can rent these movies for free, not even pirating. Like basic for the entire for the month. And basically, here's what's going on. One of the movies is Just Mercy, and the other movie is Selma. I actually watched Just Mercy today before I watched, the show, and I saw Selma when it was in theaters. Although I want to rewatch it again, hence why I'm renting it. But these movies are really relevant to our times right now, and like I said, since these two are free, why not? Like, go check them out. From what I remember of Selma, I remember really liking it. I think I might like it even more ever since time has passed. And I watched Just Mercy, like I said, just today, and I gotta say, it's a really good film. It's really good. Not best picture level for me, but however, it does. Like, it is very well told, and it, has a lot of really relevant subjects today, which Just Mercy is basically about Michael B. Jordan, as you can see on the poster there. And this is based on a true story, about a lawyer who is, a defense attorney for this one man nicknamed Johnny D. I think it's Johnny D. I don't know, played by Jamie Foxx, who was convicted of murder and is sentenced to be executed in the electric chair, and he's on death row. But however, Michael B. Jordan thinks, I don't the evidence here just doesn't sound right. I don't think he killed this person, and it's a really really just heartbreaking story. It's really it's really really good. And Jamie Foxx is great, and Michael B. Jordan just continues to prove himself how great of an actor he is. It's honestly astonishing. He just keeps bringing these expert level performances into these movies, and he's fantastic as well. There's also this one character played by Tim Blake Nelson. I think it's Tim Blake Nelson, and good God, he really sells this performance. Just from the physicality and everything. It's really he does a really great job. The only weak point in this movie, and I really don't like saying this because I don't want to sound like a Brie Larson hater, but I think she was a bit miscast for this movie. Again, please don't I'm not what I don't want people to try to group me in there with the anti-Captain Marvel people or whatever, just trying to hate on Brie Larson. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, she didn't really sell me on the role. I feel I don't know how. Uh, there's just something about her that just doesn't really uh how. Hold on, let me but it's I don't know, something about her, it felt like she just wasn't really right for this role. It felt like someone but it's if her character felt like someone felt like a person that Laurie Metcalf would play, or Holly Hunter, and not necessarily Brie Larson. I don't know. She just felt a little bit out of place in this movie. I'm not one of those anti-Captain Marvel people. I'm not trying to, bash on Brie Larson because she's Brie Larson. No, no, I just feel like she wasn't the right kind of, she wasn't. She normally is a great actress, but I just don't think she was right for this role. I feel like it's the role should have gone to someone, like I said, more like a Laurie Metcalf, who if you don't know, Laurie Metcalf played the Ladybird's mom in the movie Lady Bird, and Holly Hunter, you might know her from The Big Sick, which is an Amazon original movie. I can imagine those two playing this kind of character, but just not. I don't know. I don't know about Brie Larson, but whatever the case, I would recommend seeing Just Mercy. Like I said, it's for free. You can rent it for free for a month. I would definitely recommend watching it. And Selma, again, haven't seen this since it came out in theaters, which was 2014. Jeez. But I do remember really liking it. And David Oyelowo was spectacular as Martin Luther King Jr. Like, he really nailed that performance. I would have probably nominated him for Best Actor at the Oscars, but at the same time, however, he ultimately didn't get a nomination. But at the same time, it was also a really tough competition that year. Like, I still think no one was going to beat Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. Like, no one was going to beat him for that movie. And also, you had Michael Keaton as, in Birdman, and Steve Carell in Foxcatcher, and Bradley Cooper in American Sniper, and there were other actors who weren't nominated for Best Actor that could have also gotten a nomination, yet they didn't. Like, Matthew McConaughey for Interstellar, or Jake Gyllenhaal for Nightcrawler. So it is unfortunate. I do think it's unfortunate that David Oyelowo didn't get a Best Actor nomination for Selma, but at the same time, it's a really tough. That was a really tough year for lead actors. Like someone was gonna get. Someone was gonna miss out on a slot, and someone's gonna get pissed off. So yeah, but yeah, guys, like I said, I would recommend watching Just Mercy and Selma. These are two very good movies, and they definitely speak to the times that we are living in right now. So yeah, I recommend watching those movies. Check them out. Our next topic is going to be a little bit more of a brief one, but I don't like basically one of the best horror directors working right now, I'd probably say, is Ari Aster. I think that may be how you pronounce his name. I don't know. But he directed Hereditary and Midsommar. Both those two came back to back in 2 years. Like Hereditary came out in 2018. Midsommar came out in 2019. And both those two were in my top 10 best movies of those respective years. Like, those two movies are fantastic. And so now we have. He said that he's going to be doing a new movie, which he describes as a 4-hour nightmare comedy. The comedy thing I'm fine with. Like, it's kind of funny seeing how, a horror director is just going to be going in a straight comedy. It's sort of like the reverse Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele was a comedy guy until he got into the horror genre with Get Out, and now Ari Aster is doing the exact opposite, where he's doing where he did horror movies and is now doing comedy. All right. Here's my main problem, though. Why has it got to be 4 hours long? Why does this movie have to be 4 hours long? In what world does a nightmare comedy, as he's describing it, need to be 4 hours long? Like, I get Lord of the Rings Return of the King for needing to be 3.5 hours, because, granted, I don't know how long that movie was, but it was definitely over 3 hours. That was the wrap-up to an entire trilogy, and it was a big film. It was huge. Avengers Endgame needing to be 3 hours. Okay, I get that. Though, again, that was the wrap-up of an entire cinematic universe. Even The Irishman, now I kind of get, because it spans the entire career of this gangster. Not really gangster, but it's like this hitman or whatever. So I get that. But why 4 hours for a nightmare comedy? I mean, I'm going to trust Ari Aster, but I don't know what plot you have that's a nightmare comedy that needs to be resolved in 4 hours. Like, that, it needs to take that long. So, and I don't know who you're going to sell this to, because the only place I could see you selling this to, I could see him selling this to would be like a streaming service. They're not going to want to put this in theaters, because that's going to create more, that's going to require more, showtimes or whatnot. Actually, no, it's going to create less showtimes, because you're your movie's that long. It's just I don't know. I think the only way he's going to be able to do this is if it's a streamer. So, yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on Ari Aster, the director of Hereditary and Midsommar, directing a quote-unquote 4-hour nightmare comedy? I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we'll see, but I don't know. I just don't know why he feels like this needs to be 4 hours long. It really doesn't. Like, Hereditary didn't need to be 4 hours long in order for it to make sense. Midsommar didn't need to be 4 hours long in order for it to make sense. So, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Anyway, guys, the next topic we have here is a review for a movie that came out earlier this year called The Turning. And keep in mind, this is like one of the few on DVD Netflix. This is like one of the few movies that came out this year that I've been able to rent, because it's like, good God, everything's so backlogged and whatnot. Like, I still have not been able to watch Bad Boys for Life. Like, come on, DVD Netflix. Like, get more Blu-rays and whatnot. I still have not gotten to the movies on the top of my list. Like, come on. Anyways, The Turning is this horror movie. It stars I don't know who the lead actress's name is. I don't know. But it also stars Finn Wolfhard and Brooklyn Prince. Two people, which I'm really glad to see Brooklyn Prince is doing some new things. Like, she's that little girl you see right there. Like, yeah, that's cool. But however, I don't really know how to, basically this one character is, God, what is her name? It's, her name is, what's the lead actress's name? It's, her name is Mackenzie Davis. This one, character, the lead woman played by Mackenzie Davis is hired to look at, pretty much be sort of like a nanny-ish to these, kids. One of them played by Finn Wolfhard, who you might know from Stranger Things and It, and maybe also some Game Grumps episodes, and another and his younger sister played by Brooklyn Prince. But however, as you would expect, some spooky things start to happen. To be honest, I wasn't really looking forward to this movie because I don't think I heard good things from it, and even then it's a January horror movie, and those rarely work out. So I was like, and granted, it's not terrible. It's still not good. It's still a bad movie. And how I describe it, it's so here, let me talk about some of the things that did work. For the most part, the cast worked. For the most part. I mean, I'll get to the one kind of weak link here in a bit, and I don't like saying it, but I'll get to it. There's some cool cinematography. There's some pretty cinematography and whatnot. But overall, the movie just kind of felt a little bit empty. Like any kind of impact just didn't really work all that much. I will say, especially Brooklyn Prince, she was great, and it was cool seeing her in a horror movie this time. She's really stretching her boundaries and whatnot. I like that. But yeah, one of my main issues with the movie, and one that was kind of integral to the film that I just didn't feel like worked, and I hate saying this because I love the kid, but Finn Wolfhard I thought was miscast. I don't think Finn Wolfhard should have been in this. Should have. Basically, his character is sort of like this, moody teen and whatnot, and not even moody, but it's he's sometimes nice and whatnot. But however, he's also kind of psychologically he whips horses and whatnot. Has a pet spider, specifically a funnel web spider, and he tries to make sexual advances on Mackenzie Davis's character. I'm like, what? And I don't know, something about that just doesn't. I'm not suggesting that Finn Wolfhard was phoning it in. No, he was trying to make this work. But I think the problem with Finn Wolfhard being in this movie is that he's either too young for this role or appears too young. If you someone like an Alex Wolff from who you might know from Hereditary, or what's his name, Nick Robertson. I don't know if it's Nick Robertson or Robinson, I don't know. But he's the lead character from Love, Simon. And like those two, I could probably imagine playing this kind of role because they're old enough, or or appear old enough to be a legit threat to Mackenzie Davis. But Finn Wolfhard, he's small. He's significantly smaller than Mackenzie Davis. Like, he's significantly smaller than her. So it's like, I don't really feel like this kid's a threat. I don't. Like I said, I feel like Finn Wolfhard is either too young for this role or appears too young, because he just doesn't sell me as a threat yet. He looks like. Oh, yeah, I forgot to also say, like, he also apparently, you never see it, but it's just like it's from a character says that they got a call from the school for this, but like apparently his character was also supposed to will choke other students out. But again, like Finn Wolfhard, like him, I just don't see it. I just don't see him as a violent person. Like, again, I'm not necessarily blaming him. I think this is just a bad casting decision. He really just, like, this was not the right role for him. At least not yet. I mean, I appreciate him for trying to do something very different, but it's just like, again, I feel like they probably should have gotten another actor for this. Like I said, more akin to the likes of, like, Alex Wolff or Nick Robinson. And also, I'll say this. The ending is a little bit too vague. It's like, once the ending comes around, it's like, I don't know what happened. It's not like an Inception where it's like, ooh, wow, part of the fun of the ending is not really knowing whether this thing was this or if it wasn't. No, in The Turning, it's just confusing. It's just like, in fact, if anything, I don't even think anything's resolved. Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. There's like no resolution around the ending. I mean, you think it's being resolved, but then, nope. It's just kind of just ends off in a note where it's like, okay, so where do we go from here? Credits? Again, that's really what I feel like about this movie. It's like, this movie just does not leave much of an impact. It just really doesn't. Again, it's not the worst movie, I don't think this is going to end up in my worst movies of the year. Granted, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a worst movies of the year or best movies of the year, considering how many movies are being pushed off. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys never seen The Turning. I didn't really care much for it, but it's not the worst thing. It just kind of goes in one ear out the other. You're not going to remember it at all. So, yeah, that's my review of The Turning. Next topic. Now we're getting into some Star Wars. Our next topic is regarding this. Hold on, let me look up. Regarding this next topic regards actor Ahmed Best saying that he would be open to play Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars again. Let me go back. Let me find the actual article. I'm gonna look up. Hold on. Yeah, like someone tweeted to Ahmed Best on Twitter. Please, hold on. Oh yeah, someone on Twitter said to him, "Would you ever return as Jar Jar Binks from from the Star Wars prequels?" And he said, "I would return as Jar Jar Binks, but it really depends on the story." And in case you guys don't know, Jar Jar Binks is probably one of the most hated characters in movie history. Like, one of the most hated characters in movie history. So much that people actually started bullying Ahmed Best to the point to where he actually considered attempting suicide, which is just heartbreaking. That just goes a little bit too far, people. Now, granted, most actors are going to say they would, hey, I'd love to be part of this, because they're actors for hire, so of course they're going to want this. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. Would I want to see Ahmed Best come back as Jar Jar Binks? No. No. More so the like Jar Jar Binks. I agree with a lot of people. Jar Jar Binks is one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen on screen. I hate Jar Jar Binks. He was one of the biggest issues with Phantom Menace. Like, he was so unnecessarily cartoony. He was so I just hated that character. But, however, I will say this. I wouldn't mind Ahmed Best coming back to play a new character in Star Wars. Now, some people say technically he is, because he's playing like this Jedi Master in this one Legends of the Temple kind of rip-off game show Star Wars thing called Jedi Temple, or Secrets of the Jedi Temple, or whatever, which is good. And technically, yeah, but at the same time, like, come on. Like, what I mean by that is, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Ahmed Best come back as a new character in a Star Wars movie that's not Jar Jar Binks, and just sort of do, like I said, just playing a new character. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Jar Jar Binks, I don't blame Ahmed Best for Jar Jar Binks. I really don't. There was nothing he could do. The writing for that character was stupid. The directing, the direction he was given was stupid. What performance were we really expecting from Ahmed Best? You can't, this is clearly a case where, the material is just too bad to make good. There's no way he could have made that material sound good. And so, yeah, I just don't, again, I don't, Jar Jar Binks, just bury that character. Just never show him ever again. Never show Jar Jar Binks ever again. That's just, no, never bring him back. But, again, I wouldn't mind seeing Ahmed Best come back as a new Star Wars character. Again, playing a new character, I would be completely fine with that. Because that could actually, allow us to see his talents and whatnot. And I'd be really willing to see that. So, yeah, guys, what do you think of this? Do you think Ahmed Best should come back as Jar Jar Binks? Or are you like me, where I'm like, no, Jar Jar Binks just needs to die. Just bring back Ahmed. If you're going to bring back Ahmed Best, let him play a new character. Which, again, would make sense considering, Jar Jar was CGI, and, you can just have him play himself, or maybe put him in makeup. I don't know. But, yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or in the chat, and let me know your thoughts. Let me just get a little drink here. Ooh. Anyway, guys. Yeah. And now to our last topic before we start going into questions. Man, I'm not even 30 minutes into this. This stream is going by fast. But anyways, let's talk about, the title topic here. Today I'm going to rank the Star Wars movies, all 12 of them. And yes, there are 12 Star Wars movies. Yeah, Star Wars is a really interesting kind of. Yeah, it's a really interesting kind of franchise. We have. Well, hold on one. Yeah, Star Wars has had a long history. From groundbreaking 70s and 80s film franchise to kind of the mockery of the 2000s and the divisiveness of the 2010s. Star Wars has had, a big history. And so I just thought, well, I mean, actually, I probably, I don't know if it was one of you guys who suggested it, I don't know. But I kind of wanted to just fully put this out. If I were to watch all the Star Wars, I mean, if I were to, rank all the Star Wars movies, how would I rank them? Especially since there's not going to be another Star Wars movie until 2022. So, yeah, this list will probably stay this way for a while. But, yeah, anyway, guys, let me just before I get into the list, I will say, these were all released in theaters These were all released in theaters. These are all theatrical releases, which means, sadly, the Star Wars Holiday Special is not going to be on here. I know, that's such a sad sentiment. But, no, the Star Wars Holiday Special is not going to be on here. So, without any further ado, let's get in with what, in my opinion, is the worst Star Wars movie ever made. Star Wars The Clone Wars. Yes, I know this is the TV show, but this is the movie that preceded the TV shows. The TV show. And I actually just rewatched this last night because I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I was like, let me just check this movie out again. I haven't seen it in a while. I thought it was alright when I first saw it. Oh my god! The Clone Wars is so much worse than I ever imagined. This movie is actually terrible, in my opinion. Like, wow! Where do I start? What I will say is the digital cinematography, like the digital camera work, I thought was pretty cool. Like the angles and the colors and the lights and all that. That was pretty cool. But in terms of like the modeling of the characters, environments, and objects, the rigging of those said things, and the animation, it's all they look like something from like 1999, maybe 1999, 2000. I don't know. Like, probably even before 1999, to be honest. Like, this is like late 90s animation CGI. Like, this is garbage. Like, which is weird because, funny enough, this wasn't even meant to be a movie. This was meant to be, like, as we know, like, Star Wars The Clone Wars was supposed to be a TV show. Well, they took the TV show, like, George Lucas saw a few of the first episodes of Star Wars The Clone Wars and was like, ooh, yes, I want this to be a movie now. And then I'm pretty sure Dave Filoni was like, wait, what? Like, well, this was not supposed to be a movie. Like, this is a TV show. Like, this, you can't put this in theaters. And it's like, oh yeah, no, just do it anyway. Oh well. And it really shows the cheap, like, this, because this, and since this was released in theaters, I have to judge it as a theatrical release. This looks so damn cheap. Again, aside from the digital cinematography and colors and lights and all that, this looks like something from like the late 90s. It's so badly animated. The writing is just mainly consisted of stupid one-liners, horrible dialogue, dialogue that just overall sounds flat. The characters don't express all that much. It's just, it's just not a pleasant movie to look at. And not to mention that the plot is just like, the pacing is so bad, again, because this wasn't supposed to be a movie. A lot of these just kind of feel like individual segments. Like I get, like this, okay, we're doing this thing, and then this gets resolved. Okay, we're doing this thing now, and then this gets resolved. Then we're doing this new thing, and it builds up, and then this gets resolved. It just kind of just has this weird loop of just like, we don't have any idea what we're doing here. And so, yeah, this movie just feels so flat. Like, it, again, because it wasn't supposed to be a movie. It just wasn't. There's no pacing to this. There's no sense of good art, like the anime. Like I said, the animation is really terrible. Again, on TV, this wouldn't be that bad if this was just part of a TV show. But like I said before, this was actually put in theaters. This came out the same year as WALL-E and Kung Fu Panda and Bolt. So like so when all those movies look way better than this garbage, ugh. So yeah, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, in my opinion, is at number 12 the worst Star Wars movie. And then we get to number 11, which is still a pretty sucky Star Wars movie, and that's Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. Man, everything that could have been said about Phantom Menace has already been said. Jar Jar sucks. Jake Lloyd's dialogue and direction sucks. Hell, the overall direction sucks. None of the characters are emotive. All of them are flat. Nothing is given any real weight, or when it's supposed to feel like it has weight, it just doesn't. The visual effects, as new as they were for the time, they're not good. They still, everything looks like it's made out of rubber. It's so the CGI is horrible. I mean, John Williams' score is really good. You have Duel of the Fates. Um, like it's weird knowing that this teenage girl is going to one day marry and have sex with this little kid character. Ew. Uh, and look, I'm just gonna be honest. Darth Maul just doesn't impress me all that much. Yeah, he looks cool. Yeah, he has a cool fight scene, but really, who's Darth Maul? Who is he? Like, we don't know anything about him. He. See, I don't even think Darth Maul is all that cool. I mean, at least, like, granted, he's not saying a lot of George Lucas's dialogue, but again, that's about it. That really is just it for him. There's just nothing really to his character that's just kind of like, wow, you're cool. Again, it's just not. There's not much to talk about in this movie. It's just a very flat, very boring kind of. It's just a very boring Star Wars movie. So yeah. At number 10, which is still a pretty sucky Star Wars movie, is Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones. Suffers a lot from the same problems as Phantom Menace did. Granted, there's not a lot of Jar Jar, even though, on the other hand, he kind of fucks up everything for the universe to come, which is so hilariously stupid. But yeah, there's not really anything. There's nothing really memorable about Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones. Yeah, you do have, Phantom Menace had the Darth Maul fight, but really, do you remember anything in Attack of the Clones that wasn't stupid? I honestly don't. Huh. Yeah, this is just a poorly conceived film. This is just, and again, like, the romance between Anakin and Padme just feels so uneventful. It feels kind of weird and creepy at the same time. Honestly, I kind of teeter back and forth between which one I thought was worse, Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones. It's like, pick your poison, I guess. But right now I have Phantom Menace as worse than Attack of the Clones, but I might not, I might not hold on to that. I don't know, we'll have to see. But, I'm really struggling to find anything to think about when it comes to Attack of the Clones, other than just the romance is bad, and Anakin's dialogue is shitty, and a lot of the same shitty things from Phantom Menace are still in this movie, like the shitty effects. So yeah, wow, I really can't think of anything for Attack of the Clones. So yeah, I guess that's about it for Attack of the Clones. At number 9 is probably, in my opinion, the most disappointing of any of the Star Wars movies. Granted, because I didn't really grow up on the prequels, so I couldn't see that disappointment. But for me, the most disappointing of all the Star Wars movies, and again, it's a pretty sucky one, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I hate saying this, because this is my 4th most anticipated movie of 2019. Like, it was The Rise of Skywalker, which again, I thought ended up sucking. Aladdin, which I thought was great. Avengers Endgame, which I thought was fantastic, and The Lion King, which was my number 1 movie of the year, even though everyone else probably had it in like their top 10 worst movies of the year, which I still won't get. There are a few upsides to Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I thought the acting was overall better than Phantom Menace: Attack of the Clones. The visual effects are fucking unbelievable. They are fantastic. John Williams has a great score once again. And there are some nice moments, but overall, this just felt like Disney just shamelessly pandering to prequelists. Because they were the ones complaining about, Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and whatnot. And so Disney went, oh no, we don't, let's just abandon all the plans we had and just pander to fucking prequelists, because I don't know why. And obviously, it showed that was a bad idea, because this has gotten the worst reviews out of any live-action Star Wars movie, even beating Phantom Menace. And even though, granted, it was successful, it made over $1 billion at the box office, it made its money back, and then some, it made money. It was, however, the lowest grossing and least profitable of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. So I mean, if like, so obviously trying to pander to prequelists didn't work. Because again, you got the worst reviews out of any live action Star Wars movie, and you made significantly less money than the other two. So it's like, you probably should have stuck to what you had before. And God, there are so many things wrong with this movie. So many things wrong, from the way they used Palpatine. And like, I thought bringing back Palpatine was a really cool idea, and I still think it's a cool idea to bring him back. Like, there would have been a way to make that work, but however, in this movie, it just comes off as so unbelievably stupid, and they never once explain how he's back. They never once explain any of that. It's just, I don't know, he's just sort of back. They never once explain in this film how he came back. Yes, some people are going to say, oh, but there's the Star Wars books, like the new books could sort of, explain that. Well, you should have done that in the movie. Like, I'm sorry, but your story kind of sucks if you can't even explain it in your own movie. Because, like, something like, I've always argued that Snoke's backstory from, Supreme Leader Snoke from Force Awakens and Last Jedi, we didn't need to know anything about him. He was not his character was not that consequential. He was just the bad guy that they needed to stop. Okay, we didn't know anything about Palpatine when, Return of the Jedi came out, so, okay, we don't need to know anything about, Snoke. But this is something completely different, Palpatine coming back. We saw the end of his character in Return of the Jedi. There must have been some, you really have to explain, how do you come back from shit like that? How do you come back from that? And they never once explained any of that, and just created so many plot holes and so many unanswered questions. And so, ultimately, this movie just makes me feel empty. It's like, this is where we've been leading to this whole time? I'm not going to put this against the other movies, because clearly, Force Awakens and Last Jedi, how do I explain? Well, The Rise of Skywalker was not meant to be this final chapter of the Star Wars saga. Or at least, Episode 9 was not originally supposed to be like this. If you remember, there was a unreleased script. The original script for this movie was called Duel of the Fates. Calling back to Phantom Menace. This it really showed that, Force Awakens, and, it showed that The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi were, The Last Jedi was following up on what The Force Awakens did, and Duel of the Fates was going to conclude all of that. But no, because of the divisiveness of The Last Jedi and whatnot, because listening to fans is always the greatest option, they completely botched anything. They completely botched what story they were trying to go for in order to just have cheap fan service that means nothing in the long run. And I'm telling you this, people are going to really look down on this movie in the future. Prequelists might love it, yay! But I guarantee in the future, people are not going to look back fondly on this movie. They're going to go, how did we get to this point? Why did it have to end here? And some people are already saying that. So, and another big issue with this movie, I really hate to say, but Carrie Fisher should have been recast for this movie. Because it was so clear that, basically what they did was that they took old footage of Carrie Fisher from The Force Awakens, deleted footage, deleted scenes from The Force Awakens, and put those in this movie. However, granted, the technology they used to take her out of The Force Awakens and put her in this movie, granted, that was done really well, but overall, like she didn't have a purpose in this movie. She served no purpose to this. And in all honesty, I think it's a bigger mistake to try to tarnish her character like that by like again the intent was nice, trying to give Carrie Fisher one last hurrah, but it didn't fit in the story. It just didn't. Like everything she said felt like it was completely out of context and just felt awkward. So yeah, they really should have recast her. They really should have. And yeah, overall, this movie was just like the way they went about making this movie was such a bad idea. I cannot fathom how this was all screwed up. And so yeah, I spent a lot of time on the Rise of Skywalker, but I really I need to do that audio commentary on that. Number 8 is honestly like number 8's a very mixed bag for me, and that is Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Yeah, this is more, like I said, this is more of a mixed bag, and it's like, and keep in mind, when I'm judging the original trilogy, I have to go by what the current versions are. The current versions with all the special edition changes. Hey, I don't want to judge them as that, but that's what's canon right now. That's what we're stuck with. So, yeah, if I have to deal with the special edition changes, fine. I'm gonna criticize the movies as such. And so, yeah, a lot of the special edition changes in Return of the Jedi really suck. I mean, granted, they're like Return of the Jedi has some really strong moments. Like, for example, I thought anything between Luke, Vader, and the Emperor, it's just perfect. I love that. Space battle, it's great. The relationship between Han and Leia, I thought was way better developed in this film than it was in Empire Strikes Back, which is probably the only real criticism I have over Empire Strikes Back, but we'll get to that later. But, however, there's also a lot of really stupid things in this movie. Like, for one, the Jabba's palace scene did not need to be that long. It really did not. Like they could have just, like, there was a point where they really should have stopped, but then they just kept going and going and going. It's like, Jesus, we don't need to be here right now. Move on. Then we also have the fucking Ewoks, which I know people will want to try to defend the Ewoks, saying, oh, but these little teddy bear things, I mean, they look cute on the outside, but in reality, they'll kill you. They'll eat you. They'll roast you over an open fire in the forest as you scream. I'm like, yeah, I know that, but they still look stupid. They still look stupid. Like, I can't take these things seriously. They're fucking teddy bears. Like, I don't know how you go about these things, but it's so clear that that George Lucas only wanted these teddy bear things, these Ewoks, just to sell toys and nothing else. Which is why I'm kind of glad which is why I'm actually really glad George Lucas is not in charge of Lucasfilm anymore. People want to kill me for that. Oh well. But yeah, Return of the Jedi. I forgot to mention the special edition changes. This also has some of the worst special edition changes ever. Mainly, in my opinion, which is what was one of them? Well, one of them. Actually, no, that's probably getting a little bit of spoiler territory. But one of them is But I'll just say the other one. One of them is this weird Jedi rocks. There's this one rock, this one song and dance number in the movie, called Jedi Rocks. I'm like, oh god, this is so bad. Like, look, I don't like Greedo shooting first, but I prefer that over fucking Jedi Rocks. Like, at least Greedo shooting first took, yeah, it was stupid, and the effect of Han moving his head to the side was stupid, but at least that took, I don't know, maybe, that wasn't even a second of screen time. Whereas with Jedi Rocks, it goes on for well over a minute. I have to look at that shitty CGI and that shitty song for over a minute. Good God, help me. And There's also this one special edition change. Well, I won't give context to it, but if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's this one part where Darth Vader just goes, "No, no," and no, not to be confused with the Revenge of the Sith scene where he's like, "No." No, there's a scene in Return of the Jedi where he does that, where he says no twice, and it's like, why did you feel like why? Like, we knew what was going on. I mean, yeah, we couldn't see his face, but his body movements told everything. Why do you need to show us this? And yeah, because of all this, I feel like Return of the Jedi just comes around as just a mixed bag, to be honest. It's yeah, I hate saying that, but that's my opinion. Number 7, we're actually starting to get into some good Star Wars movies, and number 7 for me is Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith I thought was a pretty decent movie. I thought it was decent. I don't think it's as great as a lot of people my age are saying it is, but I still like it. I thought it was good. I still have a few issues though, like some of the CGI is still not all that great. Um, mm. The lines given to Hayden Christensen and and the direction he was given still didn't do him any favors. It's really unfortunate. But overall, this did feel like the most narratively important out of any of the other prequel movies. Like, this one actually felt like it had stakes. It's like, wow, this actually matters. This is actually a serious situation that we need to handle. And it had some of the best thematic ones, in terms of like choreography and just like epic scope. The what was it, like the Mustafar fight, lightsaber fight in the movie, where of course you can see them where Obi-Wan and Anakin just clash the lightsabers together. Like, that fight is awesome in terms of like spectacle. It's fantastic. Ewan McGregor definitely gives his best performance as Obi-Wan Kenobi and really made me go, okay, this is Obi-Wan. Like, I love this. Like, he's actually great in this movie. And John Williams' score is so underrated in this film. Like, I probably would have given him a Best Original Score nomination. Again, just listen to that track where this whole battle takes place. Like, it's epic. It's like, wow. And even though Hayden Christensen's line delivery is is like really bad, but again, I'm blaming that more on writing and direction more than him. I will say he looks like a young Darth Vader. Like, the look on his face that he has when he looks at, like, I'm like, holy shit, that's Darth Vader. That's a young Darth Vader if I ever saw one. I still have some problems with this movie though. Like, again, some of the dialogue just doesn't make sense. Padme's character has a few questionable moments. But overall, I thought this was a decent film. I thought this actually felt like a Star Wars movie. So, yeah. Number 6, I'd probably say, is Solo: A Star Wars Story. This is probably definitely one of the more separated kind of Star Wars movies, where it's like, I mean, granted, yeah, we're following a young Han Solo, but this really did feel like it had kind of like a new identity. Like, it felt like just a really cool, like, space adventure film. Just so happening to be set in the Star Wars universe. And I thought Alden Ehrenreich was really good as Han Solo. I thought he was a great choice. Donald Glover kills it as young Lando Calrissian. Like, you could not have gotten anyone better to play young Lando Calrissian. The way of the smuggler, seeing the way the smugglers, operate is really cool. The effects are still fantastic. And I still find it funny because, along with Christopher Robin, Solo: A Star Wars Story was one of those movies where, like, no one believed me when I said that it was going to get nominated for Best Visual Effects. And I'm surprised that none of the, awards, most of the other award shows weren't nominating Solo: A Star Wars Story for visual effects. I'm like, why? And then when the Oscars did, everyone was like, wait, huh? Oh, and it also got nominated for, like, the VFX Society Awards. Everyone was like, wait, Solo: A Star Wars Story? I'm like, yes, Solo: A Star Wars movie. These new Disney Star Wars movies all have fantastic visual effects. Like, I'm surprised that people are still shocked by that. Like, and look, as much as I don't like Rise of Skywalker, that movie had some incredible effects work going on. And in my opinion, Solo: A Star Wars Story is no exception. Especially that train heist scene. Like, that train heist was done so well. And fun fact about Solo: A Star Wars Story. That explosion against the mountain after that train heist, that was actually a real photographed explosion underwater, but then they just put that, like, whatever, they just sort of, took that explosion and put it against this kind of CGI mountain backdrop and had the mountain crumble. It's kind of hard to describe, but it was really cool. And so yeah, again, it's not one of the higher tier Star Wars movies for me, but it is Solo: A Star Wars Story. I think is very enjoyable. Number 4, and number 5 actually kind of like bounce back and forth a bit, but I think I might go when it comes to number 5 with Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Rogue One was definitely like this is probably the first Star Wars movie that we weren't following any characters that we previously knew. Like, no one knows who Jyn Erso is. No one knows who K2SO is. No one knows who any of these characters are. I thought this movie did a really good job at, like, this is really the first Star Wars movie where it actually felt like a war. Like, like, a lot of people kind of criticize the movie for not having a lot of character arcs and whatnot, a lot of character depth, but in my opinion, I feel like Rogue One: A Star Wars Story mainly... It felt like it was meant to sort of put you in the world of Star Wars. Like, get you on board with the characters enough, to root for them, but also just mainly putting you in the battle, which, this movie does very well, especially towards the last act. Like, holy shit, that beach storm, like, that beach war sequence is incredible. Like, the camera work, that puts you at the perspective of these soldiers as you see this huge AT walker walking towards them. Like, you really do, like, if there's one thing you gotta give director Gareth Edwards credit for, it's a scope and size. Like, with that 2014 Godzilla movie, he made you feel the weight of Godzilla and on all those other monsters. And Rogue One is no exception. This movie really does put you on the front lines in the battle of Star Wars. Or in this Star Wars battle or whatever. It's done so well. And Darth Vader, even though his appearances are brief, they are terrifying. Like, this is probably the scariest that Darth Vader's ever been. Which, it's always so cool seeing Darth Vader in a movie again. Yeah. I did really enjoy Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Number 4 is going to be Star Wars: A New Hope. And initially I had this, under Rogue One, but I think I might put this over Rogue One. Because, like, I don't know, there's something about the simplicity of its story that has reached to me in recent years. Like, I do like the simplicity of its story. I still have some issues with it, like some of the effects still don't look all that great, some of the dialogue is kind of weird, but overall, the great things in this movie are still really great. Again, it's a simple story, but it's a really good segue into, like, the deeper Star Wars movies. It really is. And, Star Wars: A New Hope was also, like, that was the movie that changed cinema forever. Movies would not be what they are today without, Star Wars: A New Hope. I mean, that's not why I'm judging this on. I'm judging this based on the movie itself, and I thought Star Wars: A New Hope still holds up very well today in terms of its, like I said, its simple story and its basic in its character development, but it's simple but effective. So yeah, number 3 is gonna be Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. This is definitely where Star Wars started to get really deep. Like, it's like, wow, this movie's darker, it's harsher, it has even better effects. Darth Vader's a better villain this go round. This is like a lot of things in The Empire Strikes Back really work. There's also blurred the lines between good and evil, which is something like, wait, this kids movie's doing this? Which is just insane to think about for 1980. The only thing that, and I hate saying this, but the one weak point of The Empire Strikes Back, in my opinion, is the the romance they have going on between Han and Leia. Like, I don't know, it kind of, like, these two bickering and arguing, it just didn't really feel legit romantic. It felt like, oh my god, will you two please just shut up and just go, like, you two just don't need to be near each other. And so, yeah, but, like I said, I will say, everything else about the movie just really, in my opinion, really, really holds up. It, and of course, leading to one of the biggest reveals in any film, which I still won't give away here, and don't give away in the chat. But yeah, I do think Empire Strikes Back is great. Again, aside from the Han and Leia thing being a little bit, it didn't, again, not really feeling all that natural. Overall, everything else I feel like works really well. Number 2 is Star Wars The Force Awakens. This was pretty much my Star Wars A New Hope. Like, when I saw this movie in theaters, I was like, wow, this is Star Wars. Like, this movie really, this movie was like the perfect encapsulation of everything. It kept in with the old, like, it honored what was old, and did some, and brought in a lot of new elements. Now, some people will criticize, oh, Rey's a Mary Sue. Rey's not a Mary Sue. She actually does, struggle within a few things, and even then, like, I know some people will complain, but how is Rey able to fly the Falcon and whatnot without any problems? Well, for one, she did have quite a few problems trying to fly the Falcon. It was not an easy thing to do, and even then, like, what about Luke? Luke Skywalker didn't, he didn't, what was it, like, he wasn't a pilot either. And yeah, he was somehow able to, target that one, I don't know if it's a shield generator, I don't know what it was, but basically, like, shooting those two beams into the hole and then it blows up the Death Star, now granted, I'm not saying Luke's a Mary Sue either. I just think I just come to accept that the Force just kind of works like that. It just makes you more naturally able to respond to things. And with The Force Awakens, I feel like that was very much the case with Rey. They were just trying to, follow up with what we know of the Force. And again, she does, she doesn't always do the right things. Like, she always had, she always has her goals, but you see that she sometimes is very confused at times, and she doesn't really, again, I just don't get why people try to claim that Rey's a Mary Sue. You obviously either didn't pay attention to the movie, or you don't know what a Mary Sue is. Because I'll tell you this, which is kind of funny, because once again, prequelists are saying that, but then, all of a sudden, we now love her in The Rise of Skywalker, even though her journey in The Rise of Skywalker was literally just convenience after convenience after convenience after convenience. She at least tries to do things in in the first two movies. I'm going off on a tangent, and some people want to, criticize having a bigger Death Star in this movie, which again I don't really have a problem with, because you kind of had to do something to get people back into Star Wars. Like, people didn't, for the most part, people didn't like the prequels, so you had to bring, the audience back with something familiar. You had to bring them back with something familiar before you could do something really new, which I was completely fine with. Trying to think. Oh yeah, and another thing I'll also say about the Death Star is that when you look at most Star Wars movies, there's always a big space MacGuffin they have to try to destroy. It's always like that. Like, they always have to try to find, there's always some sort of big space MacGuffin they have to destroy. Whether it's the Death Star in A New Hope, the other Death Star in Return of the Jedi, that one weird space station thing in The Phantom Menace, that big spaceship at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, or, the Death Star again in, what was it called? In Rogue One, or, what was another one? Oh yeah, and all those spaceships and whatnot in, The Rise of Skywalker. I'm just like, at this point, like, we just gotta kind of accept that these are just things that happen in Star Wars. Let's just accept that. Like big space MacGuffins that destroy planets, like that's just a Star Wars thing. It's sort of like portals in the sky for superhero movies. It's just kind of the norm. So, oh well. So yeah, in my opinion, the number 2 best Star Wars movie is Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which means everyone's gonna want to slice my throat and drain my blood until I turn whiter. Till I turn even whiter than I currently am. In my opinion, the greatest Star Wars movie ever made is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Which funny, but yeah. I don't get the fan hate for Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Critics seem to love it, even though at the time, I remember this. I so remember this. Everyone wanted to complain. What the? Uh. Oh, okay. It's fixed. It's fixed. So, yeah. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I remember the day when, like, or at least the time when everyone was complaining about The Last Jedi getting great reviews from critics saying, the critics are paying off, they're Disney shills. Like, Disney's paying off the critics and whatnot. So, I was like, and then, oh wait, but all of a sudden, last year, when Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil came out and got bad reviews, most people, didn't say a word about critics being Disney shills. But then some of those others said, well, Star Wars is a bigger property than, those other ones, even though that's really stupid to assume that Disney wouldn't give a shit about a remake of their most beloved animated classics like Aladdin and The Lion King. So as if that wasn't stupid enough, they were suggesting that, they care more about Star Wars. Okay. Then Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker got bad reviews, and then nobody said a word. I was like, yeah, all of you just got proven wrong, okay? All of you just got proven wrong, and that critics are not paid off by Disney to give their movies good reviews, because fucking Rise of Skywalker got the worst reviews out of any live-action Star Wars movie. So all you are a bunch of idiots. And I just laughed at that. But regardless, I think Star Wars: The Last Jedi is fantastic. I thought, when it came to Luke Skywalker, yeah, he was treated the way he went about things was very different. But however, at the same time, you gotta remember that, I always make this comparison. Luke Skywalker going from Return of the Jedi to The Last Jedi is sort of like Jim Carrey when you compare him from 1994 to 2000, 16 or 17. In the span of 20-something years, Jim Carrey went from this weird clown guy to he was going through depression. He was very soft spoken. He was like, I don't know. I'm not really that kind of Jim Carrey guy anymore. The same exact thing happened with Luke Skywalker. It's I was like, oh, that's not consistent. Yeah, it's not consistent because time has passed. So much can happen within the span of decades. And Jim Carrey went through this exact same shit. I mean, not exact same, but he went from, if anything, he went through an even greater contrast in an even shorter amount of time. So, I think it's probably because I know this about Jim Carrey, why it didn't really bother me in The Last Jedi, because it's I've seen this happen before. I've actually seen, what happens when, a guy goes through personal struggles, and he just kind of feels and just kind of goes through a depression. That never bothered me in The Last Jedi. Rey was developed even greater, in having that kind of conflict between, good and evil. Should she, try to bring Kylo Ren to the good side, or, should she join him? And it's done so well through visuals and cinematography. It's oh god, it's so brilliant. and like, and oh yeah, and the most hilarious, stupid criticism I've ever heard from this movie is that it focuses is that every so often it it takes a few minutes to discuss gender studies. What the fuck does that mean? Gender studies? Because apparently, because I guess because you have a lead character, Ray, who's female, and another character played by Laura Dern, who's female, that suddenly makes it about gender studies? What? I don't understand that. Like, that is just so stupid, and you are clearly trying to look for something to complain about, and you are trying to hate on women if you say that. Like, you're just an idiot if you say that. Like, I don't say that about criticisms for the most part, but for God's sakes, you have to be looking. Like, you have to be, like, you have to have an agenda in order to try to find an agenda in this movie. Uh, it's just so stupid, and people like that are stupid. This movie's not trying to say women are better than men. It's not trying, like, hell, fucking Luke Skywalker is the biggest hero by the end of this movie. So it's like, really? Whatever the case, I think Star Wars The Last Jedi is the most complex, the most interesting, and just overall a it's a very, complex film. And I think, I feel like down the road, people are going to look back on The Last Jedi and go, wow, that movie actually was significant. This movie actually was incredible. And so there you have it, guys. Just to recap, how I rank the Star Wars movies from worst to best. Star Wars The Clone Wars, ew. Phantom Menace, ew. Attack the Clones, ew. Rise of Skywalker, ew. Return of the Jedi, eh. Number 7, Revenge of the Sith. I thought it was decent. Solo, I thought it was a really cool adventure film, like space adventure film. Rogue One, really great, really cool, really cool war movie. A New Hope, again a classic. Empire Strikes Back, it was great. Force Awakens, fantastic. And Last Jedi, I thought, like I said, I think it's the best Star Wars movie out there. So yeah, guys, those are how I would rank the 12 Star Wars movies, at least as of now. I mean, there's going to be more Star Wars movies in the future, so who knows. But yeah, guys, that about does it for that topic. And that about does it for all the main topics we have today. Now, we're gonna take a little break here, and yeah, once we come back from the break, we're going to take your live questions from the little chat that we have going on. And so yeah, before I leave for the break, here's a little message. Good news, guys! We have merch now! Go to teespring.com/stores/Christians Reviews to get your nasty little hands on all sorts of items, including my face on a t-shirt, my face on a hoodie, my face on a pillow, my face on a tote bag, my face on a mug, my face on a wall tapestry, my face on a blanket, my face on phone cases, my face on stickers, and many more! Or how about the Hannahcast logo on those items as stated above? Wow! And best of all, they come in so many different colors, including this! What is this color? What is it? I want to know. But wait, there's more! Act now, you can also get my exclusive Make America Cringe Again merch. Surely not a parody of the political climate we have today. Again, that's teespring.com/store/Christians Reviews. Order now! And welcome back, everybody, to the Hannahcast. Now that we've taken our break and whatnot, I have my drink. Diet Mountain Dew. I'll have any kind of Mountain Dew. I mean, this just so happens to be Diet Mountain Dew. But anyways, guys, let's get to your live chat questions. Whee! Let's see. Maybe... Nick SpongeBob Personal says, maybe do a best and worst movies of the year by movies that were supposed to go to theaters but went straight to streaming instead. I don't know if I want to do that, because here's the thing. Granted, this year is very different, but however, if I were to do that, then I'll have to do that for every single streaming movie that came out this year, and I really don't want to. My general rule is, if your movie was that good, you would have released it in theaters. Or if you had confidence in your film. I mean, look at, Fast and Furious 9. They pushed that to next year. Wonder Woman 1981, they pushed that to August. Disney Pixar's Soul. They didn't put that to streaming. They just put that into... they sent that into November. And yeah, there was Onward, but Onward still had a theatrical run. A very brief one. It just so happens that it was caught in the middle of the the pandemic. So I get what you're saying, but however, when it comes to movies that go straight to streaming, it's usually the ones that don't get that they thought weren't it wasn't worth waiting to put them in theaters. Like Scoob got bad reviews, Capone got bad reviews, Trolls World Tour got good reviews, but at the same time, no one thought it looked any good. So yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm still going to judge squarely on theatrical releases, because anybody can throw schlock into a streaming service, but if you have at least any confidence in your movie, if you put your movie in theaters, it shows you have some confidence in it. So I'm still going to do the theater thing. Nick SpongeBob Personal says, I actually like Jar Jar Binks. I mean, that's your opinion. I cannot agree whatsoever. I hate that character. But hey, that's your opinion. That's nothing wrong with that. More if you count Lego Star Wars movies and shows. Yeah, I'm not going to count them. No way whatsoever. They were not released in theaters. So, no. Of course not. I didn't recommend it. I inspired it. I don't know what that was. Oh, yeah, inspired it. If you're talking about the list, you're not happy that I did a list? Ah, dang, I'm sorry. Nick SpongeBob Personal says, I haven't seen the Clone Wars movie in a while, but I rewatch it soon. It's on Disney Plus, so... It is on Disney Plus. I'm going to judge or praise the Disney Plus version since that's how I saw most of them. Yeah, the Disney Plus versions are currently the ones that are canon. We're never gonna see those. We're never gonna see those original versions again until maybe after George Lucas is dead. Which I'm not. I don't want George Lucas to die for that. No. But that's the. But we're he just doesn't want to he just doesn't want people to see his original vision, which I think is sad. Hey Krishna, are you ever going to review the Michael Myers movies? Probably not. If you're talking about the Halloween movies, probably not. The only ones I would consider reviewing are the first Halloween and the new Halloween. Because currently those are the only ones canon, which means they're really the only ones that matter. The only ones because the only ones that are really at least it says to me that those two are the only ones that are worth watching. So I haven't. Nick SpongeBob Personal says I haven't seen Solo or Rogue One since they've been in the theaters, but I rewatched them soon. Rogue One's next on my Star Wars watch or rewatch. Yeah, Solo is not on Disney Plus right now. It's on Netflix right now. Yeah, Solo, A Star Wars Story is on Netflix. But, however, it will be on Disney Plus, I think, in July? I think? Yeah. Next one up, personal says, Happy 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back. Oh, yeah, it's the 40th anniversary of that. God, I'm old. Here's mine. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Force Awakens, New Hope. Need to rewatch others before rating. Others, again, I loved them all. I wish I could say that I loved all of them. I think the only Star Wars movies I actually do love are Empire Strikes Back, Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi. I think those are the only ones I loved. So yeah. Hey, I suggest you to review Lone Survivor. I loved it. I mean, I don't really see much of a reason for me to review Lone Survivor right now. It's not really topical. It's not really, like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, one of these days I'll probably watch it, but I don't know if I'm going to actually do a review on that. Because, like, it never really made that big of an impact on cinema and whatnot. Like the reason why I reviewed The Social Network and whatnot was because, like, the reason why, I reviewed The Social Network was because, it is one of the most influential movies of the decade. And looking back on The Social Network now, it kind of, like, and looking at where Facebook is now, it's like, shit, like, this movie was kind of ahead of its time. So yeah, I'm probably not going to review Lone Survivor anytime soon. I might watch it at some point, but I'm probably not going to review it. Alexi Savala says, I swear if they delay Godzilla vs. King Kong one more time, it was supposed to come out months ago. True, but I will say, for the good of the box office of Godzilla vs. Kong, I think they have to push the release date off on that thing. I think they do have to push it off because there's so many movies coming out in November that have big budgets like Godzilla vs. Kong, but I really think Godzilla vs. Kong is going to end up, tanking in the box office because there's too much competition. I think they have to push this off to next year. Because, like, granted, next year has a ton of movies as well, but it's just like, I just don't, like, especially since, Godzilla King of the Monsters, that came out last year, bombed at the box office. Like, it's the first of this, Warner Brothers Monsterverse that flopped. So it's like, they need to move Godzilla vs. Kong. If you want this movie to be successful, then you should be hoping that they move, because there's no way this thing's going to make money with so many of these other movies coming out that are also big budgeted. So, yeah. If I were you, I would hope to God that they move that movie so it can make more money. They have to. There's just too much competition. Sorry to bother you, but can you review Jarhead? Probably not. Again, I don't, like... Again, there's nothing really relevant about me reviewing Jarhead. There's nothing really relevant for me doing that. Because, again, like, it's not one, like... I don't know. Again, I'll probably watch it at some point, but... There has to be a reason for why I'm reviewing something. There has to, like I watched Turning because it came out this year, and I was finally able to watch it after months and months of delays from DVD Netflix. Like, good God. But, so yeah, I'm probably not going to review Jarhead either. Devin and Mike says, trust me, the other Halloween movies are worth watching. And not if they've been, what's the term called? Like, slashed out, like retconned. Like, if it tells me, like, keeping just Halloween and the 2018 Halloween and just axing everything else, it just tells me, like, the only one I'll probably I probably would try to review is maybe the remake that came out in 2007, because there are some interesting things I could say about that movie. I probably would review that. So if I were to review any of the Halloween movies, I'd probably review Halloween, Halloween, and Halloween. Any of the movies that just say Halloween and not numbers or whatever, I'll probably just do that. And yeah, there is also Halloween Kills, like you said this year, but I'm probably not going to review. I'm probably only going to watch the ones that I've been really wanting to watch. What do you think of Marvel's new Phase 4 release dates, including the Disney Plus shows? I mean, I'm really excited for them. I mean, I don't really have the dates on the top of my head. Like, I do know that Falcon Winter Soldier is supposed to come out this August, I think. Which, God hoping they can make that date. I hope they can make that date. Because the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of needs the they need to be in order and whatnot, or I don't know. They got a huge cinematic universe, and for all we know, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I don't know. But I am really looking forward to all the one I'm looking most forward to is the Disney Plus show that I'm really looking forward to is WandaVision, purely just from how they described it. Part 1960s, Dick Van Dyke style sitcom mixed with an epic Marvel adventure. And it ties into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is said to have some horror elements. What the hell is WandaVision going to be about? And from what I read and what I was told, from things I've read, WandaVision's not going to be like a multi-season thing. It's going to be one 6-episode miniseries or something like that. And I'm really excited to see that. I'm really excited to see, what kind of adventure, actually, no, I have no idea what WandaVision was going to entail. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also really looking forward to how they're going to do She-Hulk. I don't know how they're going to pull off She-Hulk. I'm also really looking forward to Miss Marvel. The Kamala Khan Miss Marvel. That's one of the more popular Marvel characters nowadays. And I am interested in seeing how they're going to do that. And also I'm really excited for, Marvel's What If, where they're going to have it's going to be like an animated series, but each episode's like a different what if question. Like the first episode is going to be, what if Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum and Howard Stark built Steve Rogers an iron suit. I think that's cool. I think it's a really cool idea. So I'm looking forward to the Marvel MCU shows, especially since, unlike the Netflix ones and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., these movies will these Disney Plus shows will directly, they will directly lead into the movies, which I really like. Okay, so there's now a reason for me to watch those shows now. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I've been hearing, Alexei Savala says, I've been hearing rumors about Kraven the Hunter being the next Spider-Man villain. Okay. I don't know how true that is. Let me look at... Because it depends on the source you got that from. Can you tell me... Wait. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Here we go. Let's see where this whole thing came from. Uh, where is the um? I think I. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know where. Like, again, can you tell me where you got that info? Because like, I'm not really seeing anything about where Craven the Hunter is going to be. Like if he's like, cause like, it depends on the source where you got that from. Like I'm seeing things like why Craven should be the villain of the third Spider-Man film. I'm seeing stuff like that, but I'm not really seeing anything regarding any rumors. If it's somewhere like if the source comes from something like the Hollywood Reporter or Variety or something like that, or maybe even Screen Rant, but the source comes from them and not just some other source, then that's reliable. But if you're getting it from somewhere like We Got This Covered or Cosmic Book News or some random website you've never heard of, like internetgeek.net, I don't know, but just be careful with your sources, because sometimes, many times, the rumors are just not true. Could you do Nick's Model Personal says? Could you do a top 10 movies critics love, audiences hate, or and audience love, critics hate? I have no idea what you're trying to say. Um, are you talking about me listing just saying movies that critics love and audiences hate, or audiences love and critics hate? I mean, I don't know why I would do a top 10 list for that, because I could list some I mean, hmm, I don't know. I honestly don't know what that list would really entail. I know that because I mean, I know there's I know audience there's maybe Star Wars: The Last Jedi, a movie that critics loved, the audiences didn't really like all that much. I don't know. I would probably. I don't know. I want to try I don't know. Do you have any other kind of top 10 lists you could think of, or maybe because I don't know. I want to try to do something for next week. So let me know. Are you ever going to start an Instagram account? I actually do have an Instagram account. I just don't use it because I don't know. When it comes to Instagram, you mainly have you just have to take a picture of something and then you sort of send it out and whatnot. But if I'm going to be honest, I'm not really I'm going to be honest. I'm not a selfie kind of guy. I'm not going to be objective if anyone of my friends wants to include me in the selfie. Okay, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't really see the real point in me taking a selfie with my friends and then sending it. Well, I mean, for one, I don't have data on my phone. But it's even then, it's I don't know. I'm just not really the kind of selfie guy. So yeah, I do have an Instagram account, but I just never use it. So you might as well not even follow me on there, because it's just it's just pretty much just dead space. I kind of just made it so that I could just have it, which is kind of greedy. But again, if you want to know more about my social media and whatnot, like I said, I do have. Oh wait, I don't have it around here. I do have a Twitter account. I do have a Twitter, but it's Mr. _ C _ Hannah. Yeah, I have that, but I don't do Instagram. If that's true, Nick SpongeBob Personal says, if that's true, I guess that means they won't do Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, or Venom. Now hold on a second. I never said they couldn't do Kraven the Hunter. I never said they couldn't do any of those villains. I just said we don't have any word on them right now. But they absolutely could. There's definitely, they could bring in, Green Goblin. They could bring in Dr. Octopus. Hell, there's already kind of precedent already to say that maybe that Venom movie that came out a couple of years ago does tie into the MCU. Because if you remember, there was a trailer for for a movie called Morbius, which is Morbius the Living Vampire, and it's set in the Venomverse. Uh, and it stars Jared Leto. And at the end of that trailer, you see Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton, who also played the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. And he's wearing the exact same outfit that he wore at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. Or at least the post-credit scene of Spider-Man Homecoming. So it's still not confirmed, but it's already starting to kind of look like that. You know, maybe this Venom movie is in the MCU. Which would cause quite a few problems for Marvel and whatnot, because now they have to work around not only their own universe, but now the Venomverse as well. Which is going to be a little bit weird and whatnot. But, so don't hold out hope. I never said that any of those villains won't be in the MCU. They very well could. I'm just saying, we don't have any proof yet to show that Kraven the Hunter is in the MCU. We just don't have that proof yet, I don't think. Morbius trailer had a lot of Spidey in it. Well, not really. You saw like a paint thing, like, a spray painting thing of Spider-Man, but he wasn't really in that Morbius trailer. So no, he's not, like, Spider-Man's not in the Morbius trailer. Trust me, he's not. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not saying they won't have any of those villains in the movies. They very well could. And hell, I would like to see a new version of Doc Ock. And there's already precedent to show that maybe Venom is in the, Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. But, like I said, we just have to wait and see what's announced, and see what becomes true and what's not true. Because again, it really depends on the sources you read. Again, if you hear something from, like, Variety or The Hollywood Reporter, and another one that I kind of follow that has been very reliable is also John Campea. Any of those three, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and John Campea, I would definitely recommend, like, if you see a rumor coming from those sources, then take that, you could probably take it to the bank that's probably going to happen. So, yeah. But, let's see. So, let's see. Do any of you guys have, like, list ideas or something? Like, sort of like editorial ideas I could do for next week's show? Let's see. Do you guys have any ideas for do you guys have any ideas for any kind of editorial videos? I'd be willing to hear some ideas and whatnot. Yeah. It takes a long time for you to see my messages. It usually appears in the chat after 5 minutes or something. It's probably not 5 minutes. It's probably more like a minute or maybe a little bit less than that. So yeah. Have you ever thought about doing movie commentaries? Yeah, that's exactly yeah. And I actually I have been wanting to do movie commentaries and whatnot, especially with friends, especially if we're making fun of bad movies. And so and that's one of the things that I want to try to do when if you guys want to support me on Patreon. Again, like that tier would only be like $5 a month, because again, you get the Hannahcast after show, which is pretty much a talk about anything kind of podcast. You get the Hannahcast audio only version, and we want to try to put movie audio commentaries on Patreon. Again, it's just $5 a month. It's not a lot. I don't think it's a whole lot. I mean, depending on what your current living status is, I don't know. But I do want to try to do that because that could be so fun. Because uh, like there's a lot. Like I think the first one I would do would probably be like maybe Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and then maybe we'll even take some suggestions of bad movies to do commentaries on. So, yeah, again, I would love to do movie audio commentaries. I just want to, try to do that I just want to try to do that with Patreon supporters, because I feel like, it would really help the channel out, and, yeah. So, yeah, I do want to try to do that at some point. I do want to try to do audio commentaries of movies, especially bad movies, because there's a lot of bad movies that I can make fun of. Hell, one of them that I would love to do is like Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Like that's a bad movie. I'd love to try to make fun of that one. Another one I would want to do is what is it? I would also maybe like Cool as Ice or some other stuff like that. But yeah, I not only have I thought about doing movie commentaries, I really want to do them. But yeah, if you guys can support the Patreon account, then we can definitely start doing that. So yeah, I'll probably put like maybe like the first one up for free on YouTube so you can get a taste of what it's like, and then all others will be like Patreon exclusives. Tobey Maguire is hilarious in the Spider-Man games. He sounds like he doesn't even care. Yeah, yeah. Wait, which is weird because earlier this week I literally watched like the entire playthrough, the entire Oni Plays playthrough of Spider-Man 2. That's strange timing that you say when you say that. It's like I was literally just watching that this week. But yeah, his acting in the Spider-Man games is pretty flat, pretty flat. Anyways, let's see. I think I'm gonna try to wrap. I think I'm probably gonna wrap it up. I'm probably gonna wrap it up now because I have something to do at 7. So yeah, guys, that about does it. That about does it for this episode of the Hannahcast. Once again, please give this video a like, hit that subscribe button so that we can get to 1,000 subscribers, and then once you do subscribe, hit that bell icon so that you can get notified on more videos. Also, if you want to support me like through Super Chats, but you can't really use the Super Chat feature, then go to streamelements.com/christiansreviews/tip. You can send me at least $2. That's just fine, and that'll go directly to me, and it helps support the channel. You're helping support the channel when you do that. Also, as I said before, I have a Patreon account called patreon.com/ChristianTylerHannah. I have 2 tiers. One of them is a $2 tier where you can get your name where you can get your name in my videos, and you also get the you also get, and also for $5 a month you can get the Hannahcast after show, the Hannahcast audio only version, and also any other perks that we might have there, like for example audio commentaries. Also, I have a Letterboxd account where it's pretty much like a movie diary thing. Letterboxd.com/ChristianTylerHannah, where you can get movie ratings, top 10 lists, and just general movies I've watched. It's a really cool way to see what the movies I'm watching and whatnot. It's pretty cool. Also, and right before I sign off, I'm gonna give you this thing right here. Good news, guys! We have merch now! Go to teespring.com/stores/ChristiansReviews to get your nasty little hands on all sorts of items, including my face on a t-shirt, my face on a hoodie, my face on a pillow, my face on a tote bag, my face on a mug, my face on a wall tapestry, my face on a blanket, my face on phone cases, my face on stickers, and many more! Or how about the Hannahcast logo on those items as stated above? Wow! And best of all, they come in so many different colors, including this! What is this color? What is it? I want to know. But wait, there's more! Act now, you can also get my exclusive Make America Cringe Again merch. Surely not a parody of the political climate we have today. Again, that's teespring.com/stores/ChristiansReviews.
Order now!
And that about does it for the Hannahcast, everybody. Any last minute things? Alright. So yeah, that about does it for the Hannahcast, everybody. Bye!